We express ourselves by writing in many different ways, whether it be letters, emails, short stories, and essays. Oh, and of course, social networking sites. We tend to write on those a lot. I'm going to talk about how grammar is and should always be considered situational. We as students should be competent enough to understand when to dress our grammar up or down. Let's start off with somebody that probably wouldn't appreciate this too much. This is Miss Rosa, my old English teacher. This is her Facebook. And no, we're not friends. Now, Miss Rosa taught us how to use and better our grammar, or she tried at least. The only problem is that Miss Rosa only ever taught us to focus on one specific audience, the audience being herself or AP readers. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't spend most of my day conversing with AP readers. But let's take a look at where I do spend most of my day. The wonderful, distracting world of Facebook. People post comments on here in hopes of acquiring others' acknowledgments by these so-called likes. Let's take a look at Alex, for example. Apparently, Alex wanted everyone to know that she had her theta initiation on the 30th, and she was so excited to be a theta for life. Now let's examine this as we would in an English class. Her exigence was obviously to let you know that she was about to be initiated and to get you excited about it. The writer is obviously her, as it says her name above and shows a picture of her to the right. And the audience would be her Facebook friends. Now, if you were to look at this closely, you'd find that Alex spelled initiation wrong. She capitalized all of tonight. There's more than one question mark. There's no subject-verb agreement in one of her sentences. There's no period in one of her sentences. And last time I checked, a heart and a smiley face aren't the equivalent of a period. Now that's 6 grammatical errors in just 3 sentences, or whatever you'd like to call those. But honestly, none of that matters. As you can see here, Alex was still able to get 30 likes on this post. Now, that's pretty impressive if you ask me. Now let's go on to the other side of Facebook, the ghetto
There's Miss Arrington's post, and obviously we can determine that Miss Arrington is quoting Nicki Minaj's lyrics. But I'm pretty sure even Nicki Minaj knows that lucky is spelled L-U-C-K-Y.
And not to question Miss Arrington's knowledge or anything like that, but why would you make every E a 3? I mean, I understand people turning talk to you later into TTYL, but this just makes no sense.
And obviously her audience isn't an AP reader, but it's still a little unacceptable for Facebook.
Now let's move on to the grammar Nazi. These are the people that feel the need to correct everyone's grammar on Facebook as an attempt to prove their superiority. The problem is no one really likes them on Facebook, and their ways of communicating are quite out of the norm.
Now let's take a look at Ray's post. Dear Randy, I'd just like to inform you that I am very fond of this photograph. You seem to be having a ball with your peers. I am engulfed in joy to see you enjoying yourself in Orlando. Regards, Reniel. Now, this post would have gotten a 5 on the AP exam, but for all I care, he could have just written, hey man, great pic, good to see you having fun. And it would have been the same result. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with this post, it is just out of the norm for Facebook. It seems to have a different audience than what it's being directed towards. Now, we looked at Facebook's, let's take a look at Twitter. This is what a normal tweet looks like. Now, my exigence is obviously me trying to get everyone to know how much I love English class. My audience is obviously my followers, and the redder is obviously me as it states my name above.
Although this post has a hashtag with multiple words bunched into one, and various capital letters inside that word, this post still makes complete sense for Twitter. We can compare a hashtag to a thesis statement, which explains the topic of the tweet. So as we've seen, even though these forms of writing might not have perfect grammar, they're still easily understood, and we as social network users analyze them rhetorically every day. Actually, Deborah Schlacks, an English professor at the University of Wisconsin, claims that she didn't notice the effects of Facebook grammar on her students in her classroom. I can't think of one single solitary case where a student had trouble with the boundaries between the type of language and the language that's expected, said Schlacks. Also, according to a study from Northwestern University, it has been proven that the average amount of grammatical errors per graded paper hasn't changed in the past 60 years, meaning before Facebook, before MySpace, and all the other social networking sites. So the next time you have a Miss Rosa or a grammar Nazi bother you on Facebook or Twitter, you tell them that grammar's situational, but just make sure you spell it right, because they might make fun of you.